Hey there, my name is David and this is the Restyle File. I'm a part-time reseller on Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, and eBay, and I also consign on The RealReal. Today I am recapping my sales from the previous week, which was October 1st through October 7th. I hope you had a fantastic sales week. Mine actually wasn't all too bad, all things considered. This last week has been pretty busy at work, so I haven't had too much time to list, and I definitely saw a decrease in my number of sales. With that being said, I have made sure to spread myself across a bunch of different platforms, as you just heard earlier in the intro, and I think that really contributed to me still having a pretty worthwhile week. If you're new to this channel, welcome, glad to have you. While you're here, please make sure to like, comment, share, subscribe, and hit that bell icon. That way you're notified every time I upload another video. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your support. Without further ado, let's go straight into my sales. Starting off with an embarrassing confession. On Sunday, the 1st, I would have had one eBay sale. I got a notification saying that I sold this Burberry London dark blue sport coat suit jacket. The issue is that I already sold that jacket quite a while back on Poshmark. Now, usually I'm very good about if I sell an item on one platform, my first thing I do as soon as I get the notification is go to my other platforms and delete the listing or update the listing to sold or inactive. And I had seen other channels and heard horror stories of people forgetting that they hadn't sold it or an item selling in a single day on multiple platforms and then having to figure out which one will they cancel. But in this case, I had no choice. This item sold a few months ago and I shipped it and everything. So I sent out the most apologetic message I thought I could because it was eBay and I was worried about the person trying to tank my rating. But thankfully, it appears they took mercy on me. I immediately refunded them and I made sure to apologize profusely in my message. But it just goes to show that this kind of thing happens to everybody. This is my first time with that happening to me, and I never want it to happen again. Another thing that hurts is that it would have sold on eBay for $150, and I sold it on Poshmark a while back for $100. Double ouch. Let's not dwell, let's keep it moving. So on Monday the 2nd, I had one Poshmark sale and two eBay sales. The Poshmark sale was a vintage 80s 90s pearl beaded high neck black halter evening dress size 4. It sold for $40, which was an offer. After Poshmark's fees, I received $32. I paid $10.39 for that dress at a Goodwill in South Texas, so my total profit is $21.61. This dress was so beautiful. It had a lot of intricate beadwork. It did have one or two flaws, some missing beads here and there, but it just gave me such Chanel, such Karl Lagerfeld vibes, and I would not be surprised if someone bought it for the purpose of making like a breakfast at Tiffany's type of Halloween costume. It seems like it would be perfect for that. The next sale was on eBay. It was a vintage 80s black goth witchcore lace Lolita handkerchief hem midi dress, size medium. It sold for $60, which was an offer. After eBay's fees, I received $50.57. I paid $8 for that dress at Goodwill, so my total profit was $41.43. I bought this dress because it was 80s and like wearable 80s and also very goth, very witchcore, and I thought it would be a very quick flip. It had a lot of attention on multiple platforms. On Depop, it was doing really well. On Mercari, it was as well. But basically had no offers up until this point. Very happy with that sale. The next sale on eBay was a vintage Safari by Fairmore 50s, 60s faux leopard fur luxury swing coat, size extra, extra large. It sold for $85, which was an offer. After eBay's fees, I received $67.52. I paid $10 for that coat at Goodwill, so my total profit was $57.52. This one, I thought the faux leopard fur just looked so nice and so pristine. I don't think there was really anything wrong with this one except a tiny hole on the interior liner. Maybe that one also is going to be a Halloween costume. The next day of sales was Tuesday the 3rd. I had two Poshmark sales and one eBay sale. The first Poshmark sale was a Rails Claudia mock neck wool blend luxury oversized sweater, size medium. It sold for $90, which was an offer. After Poshmark's fees, I received $72. I paid 75 cents for that sweater at a charity church shop. So my total profit was $71.25. What a fantastic sale that one was. And I believe it was my first time selling Rails. I've heard great things about it on Jack Valentine and Ryan's channel, and it appears to actually sell very well. I believe I had that listed for a little bit under a month. In my useless bonus footage from last week, I advised that something that you always need to make sure to do is that if an item does not have a label at the neck, or if it's gone and all you have is a size tag, another important thing to check is the interior care label, which is usually on the inside on the left-hand side or possibly on the right-hand side. Just because you can usually see some additional information about the brand or possibly a style number or a style name, and then be able to check comps and potentially pick up an item that a lot of people would pass. This sweater actually did not have the Rails label on the interior neckline, but I looked at the interior care label, and right there it said Rails, and it fortunately also said the size. So if you're not checking care/material tags on the interior clothing, make sure you do not pass it if the neckline doesn't have anything. The next sale on Poshmark was a Cole Haan camel tan leather wingtip brogue shoes, size 10. They sold for $50, which was my full asking price. After Poshmark's fees, I received $40. I paid $2.50 for those shoes at the Goodwill bins a long time ago, so my total profit was $37.50. I remember I was just like waiting in a really long line, and I just saw these shoes poking out of a bin, and I just figured, well, they charge by the pound here. These don't weigh much, so I'll just toss them in there. And they actually went into my death pile for a really long time, and I listed them about a month or two ago, and they sold for a fantastic price. I feel like this kind of shoe you can find at any Goodwill, and depending on what Goodwill you're at, for about $10 or maybe $15. The next sale was on eBay, and it was a fantastic sale. It was a La Petite Robe Chiara Boni Lexus snake print midi bodycon dress, size 44. It sold for $150, which was my full asking price. After eBay's fees, I received $130.15. I paid $8 for that dress at Goodwill, so my total profit was $122.15. I had never heard of this label before, but it is really expensive retail. I remember one time I went to a Goodwill and I just found like 4 or 5 pieces from miscellaneous labels that I had never heard of. When I was checking comps and retail prices, they were super expensive. So I really struck gold on that particular day. If you ever see this brand, La Petite Robe Chiara Boni, might want to check comps and consider picking it up at the right price. The next day of sales was Wednesday the 4th. I had one Poshmark sale and one The Real sale. My Poshmark sale was a Boston Proper tan gold metallic double-breasted tweed duster cardigan size 6. It sold for $50, which was an offer. After Poshmark's fees, I received $40. I paid $15 for that cardigan at Goodwill in the boutique section, so my total profit is $25. I don't really source Boston Proper just because it's a sort of department store label, if I recall correctly, and not super expensive retail, not terribly cheap either. Doesn't really appear to be something that I would consider a bolo, but I just thought that this cardigan was really stylish, and the tweed is really reminiscent of Chanel, and the fact that it's a duster and gold and a cardigan, I thought it had a lot going for it. It sat for a couple of months, but finally sold for an okay price. Made a pretty decent return on my investment. My next sale was on The Real, and it was a Thierry Mugler vintage 80s pantsuit. It sold for $259. Based off The Real's commission structure, I received $181. I paid $15 for that suit at Goodwill, so my total profit was $166. So I had actually sourced this pantsuit a long time ago, I think almost about a year ago. I sent it into the RealReal and they priced it incredibly. To be honest, probably overpriced it. I believe they priced it at about $1,250 or something like that, which of course I was ecstatic about. But lo and behold, it sat forever and did not sell forever until now. It's been discounted at 80%, which is the most that they will ever discount an item. But thankfully, it still sold for a pretty decent price. I believe more than I could have gotten for it. And I actually sent this in before the commission structure change at the RealReal, so I got a higher percentage payout. I got 70% on it versus I believe I would have received 60 or 65% if I had sent it in recently. I was so excited when I saw this label on this pantsuit at Goodwill and it wasn't in the boutique section or anything. And it also had the matching pants. So of course I threw that in my cart. The RealReal typically prices Mugler very, very well, but I'm not surprised that this sat forever, especially at that price, because it is very dated and the pants aren't even like full length pants. They're sort of like capri pants and it's like a half sleeve or 3/4 sleeve jacket, so it's a very dated look. I'm very proud of the sale though, because this pantsuit was not in perfect condition when I found it. It had a stain across the pants, and I was just lucky enough that Dawn dish soap, did its magic and removed the stain very well on the pants. I actually did an image search of this suit, and I saw that they actually had another one of this suit currently on their site. But the issue was, the one that I found at Goodwill did not have the hook and eye clasps at the chest, and the one on their website did. So I went to Walmart and I bought a little box that was full of hook and eye closures, and I actually just painstakingly on the dress form just stitched those super carefully, trying to make it look as professional as possible. I am not a haberdasher or a professional tailor or anything like that, but if I am really focusing and doing very tiny work, then I can do a passable job. So I was holding my breath when I sent it in because I was worried they were going to say that it appears that there are irregular repairs or something on it. But no, they accepted it. They said that it was in very good condition and they priced it incredibly well. So I'm going to put that as a feather in my cap on my hand sewing skills. For anyone wondering why I didn't want to sell that myself, mostly just because it was super dated. And I checked comps for this one. I think I found the exact same one on Poshmark. And it also was sold at about $150, which is less than I got from my payout here. And I didn't have to do any of the photography or anything myself. Really pleased with that sale. The next day of sales was Thursday the 5th. I had one Poshmark sale, one Mercari sale, and one eBay sale. My Poshmark sale was a Tecovas bourbon brown calfskin leather belt with silver belt buckle, size 38. It sold for $30, which was an offer. After Poshmark's fees, I received $24. I paid $2 for that belt at a Salvation Army, so my total profit was $22. Tecovas is a fantastic brand, an absolute bolo. Every time I list it, it almost always sells within a matter of a couple of days. This belt, I think, probably took about a week. I've sold jeans, I've sold shoes, and they always sell impeccably well. And depending on what item you have, for a really good price. The next sale was on Mercari. It was an Anthropology Mauve flutter-sleeved orange blouse, size large, new with tags. It sold for $22, which was an offer. And I do offer free shipping on Mercari, so after the cost to ship and Mercari's fees, I received $13.85. I paid $10 for this top at Goodwill in the boutique section. So my total profit was $3.85. Humiliating. At the very least, I suppose I made profit, but this was back in my early reseller days where I thought anything Anthropology was instant money, and gosh, do I hate this thing, and am I so happy to see it go. Never again. Never again. Dresses, okay. Outerwear, yes. Blazers, sure. Blouses, unless they're $1, hard pass. The next sale was on eBay. It was a vintage 90s Y2K silver colored metal thin belt. It sold for $18, which was my full asking price. After eBay's fees, I received $15.73. I paid $1 for that belt at a bodega, so my total profit was $14.73. I have no idea what possessed me to pick up this little trinket belt. I have had that thing for well over a couple of years. Recently relisted it on Poshmark and finally cross-listed to eBay and my other platforms as well, and it actually sold on eBay fairly quickly. That being said, if I see this kind of belt again, never again. I suppose that brings me to a important strategy. Y'all have heard me talk about it before, but FLYP is a free web-based extension that you could add onto Chrome or Edge, and it's fantastic for making usually annoying tasks much simpler, such as cross-listing, or also sharing your closet, or having automated offers. I didn't get the opportunity to list that much this week, and my Poshmark sales definitely took a nosedive. But using the FLYP application, I've been pretty diligent with cross-listing, and it's definitely easier than cross-listing yourself manually. And I think that's what helped me to still have a solid week this week, along with pushing out some of the stale inventory that I never want to see again, like that belt. I'm not sponsored, but I think it is an invaluable tool, and I want to make sure that any new viewers are aware of it as well. If you're interested in FLYP, please consider using the link in my description box below. It's an amazing price. Free. The following day was Friday the 6th. I had one eBay sale. It was a Leon Carlo Couture dark fuchsia silk prom mermaid flawed dress size 12. It sold for $50, which was an offer. After eBay's fees, I received $41.26. I paid $10 for that dress at a Salvation Army, so my total profit was $31.26. I initially purchased this thinking I was going to send it into the RealReal. They do consign Leon Carlo Couture and price it okay, and I inspected it so thoroughly at the Salvation Army. But of course, when I brought it home, I noticed that on the right side that there was discoloration. So it was like dark purple over here, and then over here it sort of discolored to like a light purple. And to be honest, it wasn't super noticeable, and it even looks like it might have been intentional, but I think that it might have just been stored improperly. So the RealReal was out of the question, and I figured I'll just go ahead and list it. And of course, I disclosed the discoloration in my listing, even titled it as flawed, and thankful that it finally sold and that I still made a decent profit. The last day of sales was Saturday the 7th. I had one Poshmark sale, one Depop sale, and one eBay sale. The Poshmark sale was a Johnny Was Dreaming Bohemian embroidered blouse size extra small. My FLYP extension actually sent an offer to a liker, and the liker sent me a message or a comment on the listing saying, "Hey, thanks for the offer. How about $60 in free shipping?" And I had had this for a while, so I was like, yeah, sold. So it sold for $60. After Poshmark's fees, I received $48. I paid $25 for that blouse at Goodwill in the boutique section. So my total profit was $23. Again, a relic from my early reselling days. I thought Johnny Was instant money. But that being said, not all Johnny Was is created equal. First of all, extra small. Second of all, a blouse. Third of all, $25. Oof. It took forever to sell. I think I had it for over a year. Regretted it so much, was so thrilled when that person sent me a message. Indirectly, have to thank FLYP. Had FLYP never sent that automated offer, I would not have made this sale, because I definitely would not have been sending offers randomly like that. Johnny Was is typically worth picking up. It's usually also worth paying up for. But I really should have thought about this one a lot more carefully before paying up for a simple blouse. The next sale was on Depop, and it was a pretty good sale for Depop. It was a vintage 80s Atomic Age Club polka dot bodycon lace-up exposed back dress, size extra small. It sold for $80, which was my full asking price. I do offer free shipping on Depop, so the cost to ship and Depop's fees, I received $68.75. I paid $1.50 for that dress at a family thrift center outlet, so my total profit was $67.25. When I initially saw this dress at the family thrift center outlet, I just thought it was so impressive and so 90s and so futuristic, and I checked comps for this label and they appeared to be pretty decent. This dress did have some flaws, but even then it did still sell for a fantastic price. The last sale was on eBay. It was an Escada Sport Cherry Pink Goose Down Belted Puffer Jacket, size 42. It sold for $85, which was an offer. After eBay's fees, I received $72.83. I paid $6 for this jacket at a family thrift center, so my total profit was $66.83. I initially purchased this to send into the RealReal just because Escada is a designer label, but it actually is one that they really don't tend to price that well. I saw that they had a brown variant of this jacket on the RealReal's website, and they actually had it priced at like $80, which would mean you would get like $0 for that sale. So I thought, nah, I should list this myself. It did take probably about half a year or maybe a year for it to sell, but sold for a fantastic price. That's actually all my sales for the week. Let's go into the breakdown. So on Poshmark, I sold 6 items for a total of $320. After Poshmark's fees, I received $256. I paid $55.64 in cost of goods for the items that sold, so my total profit was $200.36. On the RealReal, I sold 1 item for $259. After the RealReal's commission structure takes its chunk, I receive $181. I paid $15 for that item, so my total profit was $166. On Depop, I sold a single item for $80. After Depop's fees and the cost to ship, I received $68.75. I paid $1.50 for that item, so my total profit was $67.25. On Mercari, I sold 1 item for $22. After Mercari's fees and the cost to ship, I received $13.85. I paid $10 for that item, so my total profit was $3.85. On eBay, I sold 7 items for $448. After eBay's fees, I received $378.06. I paid $43 for the items that sold, so my total profit was $333.92. Bringing me to my grand total. All 16 items sold for a total revenue of $1,129. After the fees associated with the miscellaneous platforms, I received $897.66. I paid $125.14 for all items that sold, so my total profit was $771.38. While I didn't have a particularly high volume of sales, it appears that the dollar amount really helped me out this week. I'd love to hear how your sales week went. Let me know your best sales down in the comments below. Please make sure you are liking, commenting, sharing, subscribing, and hitting that bell icon. And I'll see you in the next one. Bye. Let me tell you all, it has been a long week. It has been a long life. Let's blow off some steam. This is a steamer. Blow off steam. You get it? What we're actually going to do is blow off steam and be productive. This needs steaming. It's the Johnny Was blouse that I sold. I still haven't shipped it, but I mean, just so wrinkled. And it was not this wrinkled in my photos. I owe the customer a nice steam. That way it's at least somewhat presentable when they receive it. So we are using my Jiffy e-steam. Let's get to work. This is gonna take a while. Until next time, see ya.